You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, coming to you from our beautiful studios as always. And we have a chance to catch up with offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. Well, he's going against his dad, Bill, who in my mind is as good as there is as an offensive line coach. And he's doing a great job with the Cleveland Browns once again. They are as good a group as there is in the National Football League. And a lot of it is because of the excellence of Coach Bill Callahan. Brian Callahan doing a heck of a job himself. The Cincinnati Bengals are on a roll offensively. Everybody was worried about explosives. The entire coaching staff, Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, everybody said, relax, don't panic. There's a sense of urgency. We got to get it untracked. And they have. We'll talk to Brian Callahan about what they've done, how they've done it, the performance against the Atlanta Falcons, and the upcoming matchup with the Cleveland Browns. Thanks once again for giving us some of your time. You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And we are joined by a football savant. This is the way
I wouldn't go that far, Lap.
This is where I look at this guy. This man knows his football. Offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. And first of all, Coach, welcome and appreciate your time, sir.
Of course. Happy to be here as always.
This is, in my mind, a very special game for a lot of reasons, but one of the big reasons, it's a father-son reunion. Bill Callahan is as good an offensive line coach as you're ever going to want to meet or see, and he gets it done. He's been a great head coach, offensive line coach, been a coordinator. He's done it all, and he is coaching the Browns offensive line, which in my estimation, is probably top 3 in the National Football League, and he's got them coming off the ball, and that run game is looking sweet, and they're pass protecting people well. And his son is the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, that being Brian Callahan. Does it ever get old, Coach, going against your dad? Is game planning and calling plays against your dad?
No, it doesn't. It's fun. It's a cool moment for us to get a chance to play against each other and compete. And I've never got to work with him. I just get to play against him. So I'll take what I can get when it comes to that. So it is fun. I do enjoy it, and it's not going to be forever. He's probably not coaching for the next 20 years. And so I don't take him for granted, and you get a chance to catch up and compete against each other in the NFL for a father and son is a pretty cool thing, I think. And I very much enjoy it.
How many fathers and sons have coached on the same staff together in the National Football League? I wonder what kind of number that is. It can't be.
There's been a handful. There's been a handful, I think.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably more common for fathers and sons to work together as opposed to compete against each other. But that's just sort of how it's worked out for us. And I'd love to work with them at some point in my life, but I'll take competing against them as a trade-off.
And competing against them in the same division, so it's twice a year. I mean, it's twice a year you're going up against each other. That's that's pretty remarkable. It really is. And I can just say from my own personal experience, I've had the pleasure of doing games when your dad was head coach and as an assistant coach and everything in between, and he's the same guy every single time, no matter what. And to me, that's a testament of what type of person, that you're dealing with. And man, there's none better than your dad. He's top shelf. There's no question about it.
I appreciate the kind words, Lap. I obviously think very highly of him, but I'm a little bit biased.
Yeah.
But it is. I think he's made quite a name and quite a career for himself. Probably going to go down as one of the best line coaches in the history of football. And
yep.
I'm very proud to have him be my father, and very proud to be able to follow in his footsteps and hopefully be considered about half the coach that he is. I'd take that. So,
it is interesting, the bond between offensive linemen, because it's a different, they never touch the football. If they do, center does obviously every snap. If you do, it's because there was a problem. You don't want to touch the football
right
necessarily, but so there's a tight bond there. And I just love a lot of my offensive line coaches. I just love that relationship, love the relationship with the teammates and the players in the offensive line. And And I know for a fact that a lot of guys that have played, for and with your dad just absolutely love the guy and can see why. There's no two ways about it. He's got that offensive line playing pretty darn well, Coach. I'm looking at
Unfortunately, yeah, he is. They're playing good.
They're coming off the ball now.
Yeah, they're running the ball really well. Nick Chubb's playing good football. It's a good unit. It's a good rush attack, and they do a nice job marrying up all their play actions and keepers and all those things. It's a very well designed scheme that they got going there.
So is it the same type of mentality as you're looking at against Cleveland as it was against Atlanta? Because, Atlanta showed what they could do in that first drive of the second quarter when they went 17 plays and over 70 yards and for a touchdown and took, about 10 minutes off the clock. And Cleveland with that running game, they can play keep away a little bit. Is it the same type of mentality? Get off to that good start and try to play with a lead and try to take the ball out of Chubb's hand a little bit and make Brissett have to try to beat your mentality a little?
Yeah, I think that's always how you want to play against teams that are really efficient and effective, running the ball the way that Cleveland's been. They've thrown the ball well too, so it's not to say that they can't do that.
Right.
But I know that that's the type of game they want to play is they want to grind you out and they want to run the ball. And they're going to hit those play action shots when they get opportunities. And so, playing anytime you can make a team's strength, make them play from whatever the opposite of that is ideal. And in their case, obviously their strength is running the ball. And if we can make them have to throw it or get into a position in a game where they don't feel like they can rush it as many times as they'd like to, then certainly that's to our advantage. And I think that goes for most games, but certainly teams that can really possess the ball the way that they can, the way that Atlanta can, the way that Baltimore can. Being out and playing with a lead is an important part of trying to make them play, a little bit with one hand tied behind their back. But and again, they've been pretty efficient throwing the ball too, so they're not a total. It's not like you just shut the run down and the game's over. They can play ball.
I was, I guess, mildly surprised at how persistent Atlanta was running the football. You're up 21-0, 28-7. So handing that bad boy off, and it's like they only end up throwing it 13 times in a football game where they're behind by 2 scores, a high percentage of that football game. I mean, they were going to run that ball no matter what. And 13 pass attempts, and they were sacked 3 times in those 13 pass attempts. I don't think Cleveland's of that mindset. I mean, if you get a 2-score lead on Cleveland, like you say, I think they're going to incorporate a little bit more throwing the football.
Yeah, and they're capable too. I mean, I know that they're going to miss their tight end, I think, this week. But
yeah,
Amari Cooper is a good player. Donovan Peoples-Jones has played well for them.
Yep.
They got. I think I got a lot of respect for Jacoby Brissett. I think he's done some really good things. He's put some really nice throws on tape for them so far this year. But they're a formidable team. They got talent all over the place. And they've had some games kind of get sideways on them at the end, sort of like we have this year. We lost by 3 field goals, and they've had a couple spots in the end of games where they've had commanding leads or had a game won, and it kind of fell out from underneath them. But they've played well in a lot of these games they've played this year. So it's a division game on a Monday night. We haven't played particularly well against this group since our time here in Cincinnati. I think we've only beat them once, and they'll be ready. It's a division fight. They're always going to be tough. It's going to be a really hard-fought game.
Haven't beaten them in Cleveland, Coach, since 2017. So it's time. It's time to go up there and knock them in the lake. As Mike McCormick used to say, we get ready for the Cleveland Browns. You go, knock them in the lake, boys. Let's go knock them in the lake.
So, I've never heard that. That's a good one.
See what can happen there. But like you said about the way their season's gone, they beat Carolina by 2. And now Carolina just smoked Tampa, so we know Carolina's got some ability to play football. They lose to the Jets by a point, who are playing well. Pittsburgh beats them by 2 scores. They lose to Atlanta by 3. We know what kind of team that is. Lose to the Chargers by 2. New England beats them by more than 1 score, and they lose to Baltimore by 3. So they're there. It's a matter of a handful of players away from having a winning record as such. But looking at the defensive side of things, you've played against the T.J. Watts, the Micah Parsons. Last week it was Grady Jarrett, and now you get back to the edge again, and Myles Garrett, another game wrecker on the edge. So everybody seems to have one somewhere, don't they?
Yeah, and these guys have maybe the best one. His ability to wreck a game is second to probably maybe him and TJ Watt are
Mhm.
two of the most disruptive ends that can really take over a game. Those sack fumbles and they knock your quarterback around, and it's a very he's as good as they come. And we've had our issues with him over the years. We played well against him at times, but he's a premier player, top of his position, all pro talent, and you have to know where he is, and you got to be ready to handle him with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys if you have to. But he's just he's phenomenal, and he's a big reason why their defense is such a tough matchup for people.
Denzel Ward, you got Jamar Chase saying as good a cornerback as he's played against. That's high praise. He had the big pick six, last year. That was a significant play. They're good on the back end when healthy. They have a good pass rush. Running the football, how significant is getting a solid running game going against these guys?
Well, I think you got to keep them honest and keep them balanced, because if they get to rush the passer and play pass coverage the whole game, that makes it a little bit difficult, because they're really talented. I think I do agree with Jamar's assessment. I thought Denzel Ward and really Marlon Humphrey are the two of the premier corners in this league, and they happen to be in our division.
Right.
I think Denzel is a extremely patient player. He's got great recovery speed. He's got great technique. He's a really good corner, really good cover corner. And really their safeties have played well. I know that they got an injury at linebacker, but JOK, he is impressive. He's fast, he's twitchy, he's physical. They got a good unit, and then you add in the premier talent like Myles Garrett and a disruptive force like Jadeveon Clowney, and you got the makings of a pretty good defense, and they've been that good over the last couple of years.
Coach, everybody's like, in the beginning of the season, where are the big plays? Where's the explosives? Well, here they come. I mean, now you got Jamar Chase with 5 catches of 50 yards or more in the last year and a half, leads the NFL, and Tyler Boyd's second with 4 in the last year and a half. So, it's like here it is again. And on first down, you had nine pass plays of over 20 yards, and you had a rush. Joe Burrow rushed it for 10 snaps of 20 yards or more against the Falcons. Of those 9 plays of 20 yards or more, 6 of them were on first down. You killed the Falcons on first down. I mean, Tyler Boyd has a career high 8 catches, 155 yards. Known as the third down receiver, all his catches are on first and second down.
Yep.
What was the mentality of just attacking on first down, Coach?
Well, anytime that you have efficiency on first and second down, you put yourself in really manageable third down spots as well. And so the thing we always like to say to our guys is that there's no rule on playing third down. You don't have to be in third down if you don't want to be. And if you're really efficient on first and second down, you try to stay out of it. And so we've had stretches where we've been 1st and 10, 2nd and 4, 1st and 10, 1st and 10, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 2, 1st and 10, and maybe 1 3rd and 3 is mixed in there. And so when you're really efficient on offense and you're really got a good rhythm, that's what it should look like. And efficiency on first and second down is critical to staying on schedule, staying in front of the chains, and putting yourself when you are in third down in very manageable, convertible down and distances. I think we had 11 of our 14 third downs were under 4 yards.
Wow!
So that's going to put you really favorable conversion percentages. I think we were close to 60%ish or so on third down, 7 of 11 or something like that. But that's because of how efficient we were on first and second down, and we were in really manageable spots. We didn't have to drop back on 3rd and 10 and face all the exotic pressures and all those rushes where their ears are pinned back. And the same goes for second down, because anymore in the NFL, if you're in 2nd and 8, 9, and 10, that's another third down rep for the defense. They're going to blitz you, and they're going to put some exotic stuff out there. And so you try to stay out of those spots too and make them play honest on 2nd and 4. And so that's it's kind of all fits together. And I think it's part of the reason why we played as well as we have the last few weeks, is because our first and second down efficiency has been pretty dynamic.
Coach, you've got your big 3 of wideouts. Everybody's got 455 yards or more. Higgins and Boyd, both receivers, have 455. Chase has 605. they're all tracking for 1,000 yards or more. It's only 7 games played at this point. There have been 5 cases of 3 players on a team getting 1,000 yards or more in the same season. Been 5 cases of it. 2 of those cases is involved the tight end, Kellen Winslow with the 80 San Diego Chargers being one of them.
Yep.
And then the other was Eric Metcalf as a running back, return specialist, wide receiver with the 95 Falcons. So there's only been 3 cases of those 5 where it's 3 true wide receivers. Could be the 4th, the 6th overall, and the 4th where it's just 3 wide receivers. I mean, that's pretty significant stuff. And you got Joe Burrow, point guard, distributing that thing, doing a hell of a job, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. And really, we've I hope for our receivers, they get a chance to claim that title over the course of the season. If they do, that means we're playing pretty well and we're all staying healthy. Because I think that's a cool thing to have, and it's an individual marker for each of them, but it's something that I think that they would all like to be able to say that they accomplished together is all be over 1,000. And but we don't throw the ball with that in mind. Joe's going to throw it to the open guy. We just happen to have 3 guys that do a great job of getting open, and he's going to find those guys in space. And each player is going to have things we try to feature them on over the course of the game, and sometimes the guys we feature get covered, or the structure takes us to the secondary or third or fourth part of the progression. And Joe's very willing to just move through his progressions and find completions. And I think over the course of time, what you see is the ball is going to get spread pretty evenly. You're not going to be able to key in on 1 or 2 guys, and you're going to have to stop all of them. And don't forget that, Joe Mixon's been really good out of the backfield in this early part of the year, and so is Hayden Hurst as an underneath target. So we got a lot of people that can catch the ball, and a quarterback willing to distribute it to them efficiently.
So on third down, Jamar Chase has 15 third down catches, number 1 in the NFL. Hayden Hurst, who you mentioned, has 12, tied for 5th in the NFL. And he's got 12 of his catches on third down out of 29. So, I mean, he's been extremely productive on third down for you, keeping drives alive. And he's becoming a crowd favorite the way he maximizes yards after every opportunity, gets every inch out of that bad boy. His physicality is contagious, isn't it?
Yeah, he plays with great energy. He has an unbelievable passion for football. It's really important to him. I think he loves playing here. I think he loves playing with his teammates. And you can see it's contagious. Guys that play with that kind of energy are contagious to the whole unit, and people feed off that. And when he catches a 5-yard route and plows through 3 guys to get a first down on 3rd and 7 on a 5-yard catch, that gets people fired up. And he plays with that passion all the time. He's really blocked well for us too in the run game, and I'm really happy we have him. He's done a great job, and again, that energy is very much contagious to the rest of the unit. We all feed off it.
In terms of Joe Burrow, I remember asking Paul Brown, multiple times, Coach, what is the biggest box to check from a tangible standpoint, not the intangibles, leadership and all intelligence and all those kind of things, football IQ, but for a quarterback, what do you look for? What's the thing? Got to throw it straight, David. Accuracy. Got to throw the ball straight. That's what the hell good is if you can't throw the ball straight. So Joe Burrow, right. Yeah. So Joe Burrow falls into that category. And man, Kenny Anderson was a teammate and a roommate, and he wrote a book, The Art of Quarterbacking. And I'd watch Kenny Anderson throw the football, and it was like, man, what a stroke. It's like watching a great hitter swing, a great golfer swing. Kenny Anderson throwing the football was a perfect stroke, and he wrote the book, The Art of Quarterbacking, and his mechanics. I remember Bill Walsh working for days on just his feet, and then they'd progress to the core, then they'd progress to the arm and the hand follow through. And man, it was just unbelievable to watch them, focus on these aspects of it and put it all together. I watched Joe Burrow, and Joe, he can create and extend, throw off platform and all those things. But when I watch him throw in the pocket, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, his stroke is just, I'm thinking, this is Kenny, give me a flashback. His feet, he's always got the solid platform, and then it works its way up to the core and then through, and he doesn't drop it in a bucket. He drops it in a thimble. I mean, he's hitting tiny spots down the football field. That 32-yard touchdown pass to Jamar Chase. My God, Not many people in this world can do that. Talk about how well he's playing.
It's hard to play much better than he played on Sunday. You know, that's about as good a game as you could ask for from the quarterback position. But you're right. He's got an incredible ability to be accurate. It's a very natural part of his quarterbacking style. He's got a great, smooth, no wasted motion delivery. He can throw from all different angles off his body and still maintain his accuracy. And he's got great pocket presence on top of it, and his eyes are always downfield. He never has to look at the rush. He just feels it, and he knows when he's got to get rid of the ball, when he has to move and slide, and when he needs to run. And you know, on top of being accurate, you know, one of the things you always look for in quarterbacks, and what separates great quarterbacks from just good ones, is their ability to process and make decisions. And Joe can process and make decisions about as fast as anybody in football. He does a great job seeing what the defense is playing, how they're playing it, and knowing where to put the football, the timing that he needs to put the football there, and getting it there accurately, obviously, is the last part of it. And so he exemplifies all those things, and he's really I'd say he's played fantastic football from about week 2 till now. And I think you're seeing him really start to feel the rhythm of the offense and do things the way that at the level that he's capable of. And I think he's still got another level to get to. And so that's exciting. And I'm really excited to see where it progresses to as we keep moving forward. But he's playing really, really fine football right now, and it's fun to watch and fun to coach.
The other thing that I really respect about him is his toughness and his courage. I mean, in the pocket, the dude is great. Grady Jarrett, you know, it doesn't go as well as you'd like up front. Grady Jarrett wins his matchup, and he's bearing down on Joe Burrow, and Joe's like standing right in there. And he sees him, you know, he's right in front of him. He knows he's going to take one right under the chin. And he throws a ball that Tyler Boyd makes a spectacular one-handed catch on. But the throw, considering everything that was involved, you know, getting the ball off, period, was unbelievable. And as an offensive lineman, I'd be like, I want to play with that guy.
Yeah, I think you'd ask our guys, they feel the same way. But he knows when to stand in and when he's got a throw available. And that's a great example of knowing he had the route, knowing it was going to be open, and knowing he's probably going to take a shot there, standing in with some courage and toughness and delivering the throw. And that's what quarterbacks get paid for. You know, I think that Tom Brady said at one point that it's really hard for quarterbacks to show their toughness in any other way except taking a hit and getting back up. And that's, you know, they don't get to tackle anybody or hit anybody or anything like that. But quarterbacks can show their toughness by standing in the pocket when they need to make a throw and deliver a great throw and take a hit, bounce back up and do it again. And I think Joe's as tough as anybody in football. And I think all the linemen up front would agree, and they love playing with him because of that mentality.
I remember in the Wayback Machine when it started with the West Coast offense, you know, Paul Brown, Bill Walsh, and everybody was like, you know, well, shouldn't you run the ball a little bit more? And coaches would always say, look, this West Coast offense, play action fake and throw it to the guy we fake the handoff to, that's an extension of our running game. Part of this passing attack is you could label it whatever you want to label it, but we're approaching it like we're attacking the defense in the same way, run or the pass. And the defensive coordinators felt the same way. Do you feel that way? A lot of people are like, oh, all they look at is, she's ran it 16 times and threw it 30. Man, run the ball. Some of your passing attack, in my mind, reminds me very much of what Paul Brown and Bill Walsh were doing, and it's almost like an extension of the running game.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is, you know. And I think that because of the way that our talent is structured on our team and our roster, you know, we're really more concerned in the run game about the efficiency portion of it. And I think in the last three or 4 weeks, I think we're top 5 in run game efficiency. You know, and that if I think we're like 60% efficient, and that's a really, really big number in the run game efficiency world. I mean, if you can hit that number, you're going to be really, really pretty effective. You're going to be going 5.5, 6 yards a carry. And again, that goes back to the first and second down efficiency. And that's a huge part of it, is that our run game has been really, really positive in that regard. Now, we're not going to run the ball for 25 times for 150 yards probably very often. But when we do run it, we run it effectively and efficiently. And, you know, when you look at Joe Mixon's total touches, a lot of those passes he catches behind the line of scrimmage. So to us, it's no different than a run. And we're putting him in space on defenders one-on-one that are on the secondary that don't like to tackle him. And then a lot of our quick game passing is get the ball in guys' hands and let them get vertical in soft zones and let them go play against guys that are lesser athletes than them and lesser players than them. And so as much as we can do that, that's to us is just as good as a run. If we complete a ball on 1st and 10 for 8 yards, or even like the first play of the game last week, we complete for 11 yards and a new set of downs. I don't really have much consternation about not running it if we're completing the ball like that. And so those are going to be times to run it. I thought we ran the ball well in the fourth quarter when we had to close the game out. We had some really nice runs in there that got us out of a backed up situation and allowed us to take all that time off the clock and finish with the game with the ball in our hand. That's the second time we've done that now. Did that against the Jets as well. So I think our ability to run the ball when we need to is important, but I also don't think that we're going to be out here chasing numbers just to say that we ran the ball 25 times or we ran it for 100 yards. I don't think that really matters to us. We're trying to find the best ways to be efficient and score as many points as possible.
Coach, that drive you talk about, the last drive to finish the game, you get the ball to your 2-yard line, 17 plays, 92 yards, take a knee to end the game, 6 first downs. Talk about putting somebody in the meat grinder, 8 minutes and 45 seconds. They never saw the light of day again in terms of getting the football back. It had to be frustrating. That was it. I loved that drive. And I guess like we're talking about with the run in the past, I do remember Paul Brown saying to us in a meeting, gentlemen, everybody talks about how the run sets up the pass. Doesn't it stand to reason? Let's think about it. Doesn't it stand to reason the pass can set up the run? Don't you? How many guys in this room think the pass can set up the run? It was great. I mean, it was a great, very, very, very astute. And coach, consternation. Good word, man. I like that word.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, there's a lot of ways to play football, and there's a lot of different schemes and styles, and we've adapted our style to where our talent is, and that's our premier players are our quarterback and our receivers. That is not to say that our running backs aren't premier players, because they are, Joe Mixon in particular, but we use him a lot of different ways than just handing the ball off to him. And I think that as many different ways as we can get the ball to our players in space, whether it's a run or a pass or a jet sweep or a screen or whatever that is, that's going to be our strength. And some teams are built differently and their strengths are different. Atlanta was going to grind out the ball. They're a really good rushing team. That's who they are. And I think that we've found out who we are, and we're going to lean on our strengths to score points. And I think that there's no real wrong way to do it as long as you're scoring points and winning games.
After the game, I was talking to some of the offensive linemen a little bit, and they were like, after 21 points on the board and 28 so quickly, they're looking at Joe Burrow and they're saying, Joe, my gosh, man. And Joe just smiled, looked at him, and said, "That's what I do, boys. That's what I do." Yeah. I mean, I just love that, man. That swag, and it's an earned confidence. It's like he's not blowing smoke. That's what he does, man. That's what he does.
And he works really hard at it, and his practice week is important to him. His preparation is important to him.
Yep.
I think all the guys see that, they recognize it, they respect it, and then he goes out on game day and he balls out. And that's the quickest way to earn respect in the NFL is if you play really well in games, then you tend to earn respect really quickly. And I think that all these guys that are new to being around Joe, I think having not played with him until the season started, I don't think they quite understood. But when you get into a game with him, you get it. And that every time he's got the ball in his hands, you got a chance to win games. And I think that's what makes it such an exciting time for us. And what gives us so much energy and enthusiasm to go attack each week is that we know we got a quarterback that can win the game for us at any moment.
And man, when you got a guy that has such a thirst to prepare, and to prepare the same way, and he puts in so much time, it's so important to him. That stuff, when your best player has that mindset and that approach, man, that's such a good dynamic, because everybody else, all the rest of us minions are like, damn, am I doing enough? Look what Joe's doing. I better pick it up a little bit. I don't think I'm giving quite enough, and that whole thing just raises the boat even higher, doesn't it?
And I think what makes, you're right, exactly right. And I think what makes our team so unique and so special is that I feel like every position group on offense and defense is that way. We have a bunch of receivers that love the work. They work hard. They practice hard. They do their job well. Our tight ends are the same way. Our line's the same way. We have a team full of that type of mentality, and I think that's why we had the success we had last year, and that's why I think we'll have the success that we expect to have this year, is because we're made of the right stuff. Guys do their jobs the right way. We got a team full of pros, and guys that love to work. And when you have a bunch of guys like that, then you know you got something special. And when your leaders are like that, everyone tends to follow suit. And so I think that's what makes it a pretty special place and a fun time to be a part of the Bengals.
4 out of 5, Coach. 4 out of 5, starting to stack them up, stack those W's up. Appreciate your time. Put together a good one for this Battle of Ohio. And knock them in the lake one time, Coach. Knock them in the lake up there. Here we go.
That's it. We'll do our best.
Appreciate you very much. Have a great one.
All right, Lap, you too.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.